Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of the Sarah Seams podcast. My name's Sarah. I'm the maker here at this channel, and I'm coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, where I live with my partner Troy and our cats Alex and Moo. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah_Seams and on Ravelry at Sarah Ribble. This channel is where I share all things crafty, everything I'm working on, mostly knitting, but there's quite a bit of sewing and some quilting sprinkled in too. Today I have some of all three. It is a beautiful sunny morning here, so I'm gonna have a little bit of bright light on this side, so I hope that is okay for the video. I'll try and make sure I show everything as best I can. It is July 8th, Saturday in the morning, and it's gonna be a beautiful summer day. So I thought I would jump on and chat with you all. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video. Oh, here we go. Moo's yelling at us. They get upset when I'm in here with the door closed and they're not allowed in. I will try to keep, all right, I'm gonna have to go address that. 1 second. Okay, I gave them some catnip. Hopefully that will keep them distracted. So as I was saying, a couple of weeks ago, to kind of kick off the summer season, I had a week off of work and just spent that time doing lots and lots of crafty stuff, and I made a series of vlogs about it. So that was a lot of videos back to back because I did one every day. So I needed a little bit of a break after that, but because of that, I have a lot to share with you today. During that week, I also made my summer sewing plans video. So if you're interested in seeing the vlogs or seeing all of my summer sewing plans and the fabrics I'll be using for those, please do check out those videos. I'll try and link them up here. But yeah, so I have a lot to share today. I have 7 FOs, quilt sewing, knitting, and quilting, and I have 5 works in progress, a couple of things that I'm frogging, some acquisitions, and a little bit of knit and chat. So I'm gonna jump right in. If you see me looking over, it's just at my notes here. So I am wearing an orchard dress hack. The pattern is by Helen's Closet, and this kind of leads me into my first 3 finished objects. So I'm just gonna start there. So I made 3 versions of this pattern. And the first one is the straight orchards dress, just as the pattern, and I'll put a video in. This is a navy blue Brussels washer linen from local sewing stores, so to speak. The pattern is a free pattern from Helen's Closet. It is available, oh no, I don't have this on here. Let me see the sizing. Okay, it is available up to a 60-inch bust and a 62-inch hip. And I really like this pattern. It's a super quick sew. You pretty much just bias bind the neckline, front and back, and the underarms and hem it. It's very quick, and it's a very easy pattern to just like throw on in the summer. So I've already made a pink linen version. I really wanted this navy version, and then I had this hack in my mind for the one I'm wearing, with this little keyhole detail on the front. But I wanted to test that detail out before I just jumped into using my nice fabric. So my second FO is a top version. So I'll put a video of that in. This is the same navy Brussels washer linen. And I should say I'm making the size, I'm grading between sizes 18 and 22. So 18 on the top and then graded to 22 on the bottom. And I just had some extra of this fabric and decided to make a little test version. So I made this cute little crop top with the tie front detail, and it turned out super great, just how I wanted. So basically all I did was on the pattern piece, I just drafted the little cutout, and then instead of cutting one piece of bias binding for the neckline, I cut 2. So I bias bound the little keyhole first. Then I cut 2 longer strips of bias binding and bias bound each side of the neckline, and that just continued into the tie. And that was it. Super easy modification, excuse me. But yeah, the little top's super cute. Unfortunately, the first time I washed it, one of the ties got ripped off, which has never happened to me before. And I have a lot of garments that have like little ties and stuff, so that was unfortunate. But I was able to mend it and sew it back on. So Yeah, I really like how the little top turned out, and it made me feel much more confident going into this version that I'm wearing, which was where I ultimately wanted to get. So this is my third FO. It is my orchard dress hack, and I will put a video in here. So as I already discussed, I did the keyhole alteration on the front, and I added a ruffle to the bottom. So initially I didn't shorten the length of the dress, I just added the ruffle to the bottom. But once I tried it on, it was like 3 or 4 inches longer than I wanted it to be. So I did end up going back in after it was finished and raising the ruffle up about 3 inches. And so the length that you see now is that perfect like midi length that I love. So I'm so happy with how this turned out. I've worn it a couple times already. I wore it to my friend's wedding shower last weekend, and that was really fun. So this fabric is stone washed gingham linen from Blackbird Fabrics. It is the colorway London Fog, and I love it. It is beautiful. This is the summer of gingham, all about the gingham. So yeah, it's just, let me show you the keyhole a little bit more. So yeah, as I was saying, I just bound off the neckline pieces, and that continues into a tie, and then I just knotted the little ends. But yeah, it's just a super easy dress to throw on, very comfortable, very breathable, very happy with how it turned out. So yeah, that was to the blue version, and this version were both on my summer sewing plan, so checked a couple of those off already. All right, moving on to knitting finished objects. I have 3. The first one is a pair of socks. So I'm participating in Sari Nordland's Summer Sock Knit Along. It's one of my favorite knitting events of the year. This is my 3rd year participating. And I finished the first pair, which are the summer solstice socks. So yeah, you can see them here. They are all over cables and lace, mostly cables, like even these little guys in here, there's some cables going on. Very heavily cabled, but they turned out beautifully. I'm pretty sure she named them the summer solstice socks because this motif here reminded her of a wreath of flowers, which is a traditional summer solstice thing. The backs have this pattern. The yarn I used is a Knitter's Homestead. It's their twisty sock base, and the color is Moonstone. It's really beautiful. Green with these little blue speckles. There's a nice tubular cast on, which I really have come to love in socks. They just fit so much better. You don't get any constriction at the cuff. Then we have the cabled leg, heel flap and gusset. Oh, moves back. Buddy. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna talk over him. He will go away eventually. But yeah, I love how these turned out. They're very intricate, a little bit hard on the hands. I've started the second pair for the summer sock knit along. I'll show those in a little bit as a whip. But yeah, I'm just trying to take my time with these because, you know, I've knit a ton of like vanilla socks this year, and I kind of had gotten out of the habit of knitting these more intricate socks, and they do just take longer. But I mean, the result is so beautiful. They fit perfectly. I should say I made the second size. So there was a 64 inch or a 62 inch and a 66 inch or inch stitch. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember, but yes, I did make the larger size, and I'm glad I did because of all the cables. They are quite constricting, and I think the smaller size would have been too small. So I am glad that I went with that size. And the way the summer sock cowl works is Sari releases a new sock pattern for the cowl every month for 4 months. And the idea is to take 3 skeins of yarn and make 4 pairs of socks. So the last pair will be like stripey or color work. So yeah, so this was the first pair, and we're on to the second pair, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm very pleased with these. The yarn is very nice and soft. Okay, next one was kind of an impulse cast on. I don't think I showed this on the last podcast. If you watched the vlogs, you probably saw me working on it, but you might not have seen it finished. So every once in a while, I just get the itch to like cast on a little project, something I can finish in like a week or 2. I feel like that tends to happen when I have a couple of bigger projects that are taking longer, or when I just get the urge to like go into my stash and put colors together and make something like right away. And this was one of those projects. So this is the Embrace Cowl by Andrea Mowry. Sure you can see it. It's really, really nice. I really enjoyed knitting it. So I went into my stash and I had purchased secondhand this little mystery mini skein set from Explorer Knits and Fibers. And I don't know what any of the colors were. It just says mystery mini set, but it is their Denali sock base. It was 80% superwash, 20% nylon, and it had 4 little minis in it. And maybe you can see, so there was this lighter yellow, this more golden yellow, and then there was a kind of variegated purple, and then there was like a more blue purple that was more solid. So I had those, and then I also had this color here. It's held double, which was also secondhand purchase, but it was Destination Yarn postcard base, which is 75% superwash, 25% nylon, and it's the Venus colorway. And I just kind of started putting those together and thought they were really pretty together and wanted to make a little cowl. This will probably end up being a Christmas gift for someone, not sure who yet. But yeah, so this is a fairly new release from Andrea. I think it was published in a magazine or a subscription or something, but it is now available for purchase on Ravelry. It comes in multiple sizes. This is the largest adult size. And the pattern is meant to have a fade. So if you had like a 12 mini skeins from an advent, or just that you'd collected, you could make a beautiful fade, and that's kind of what it's charted for. But I have these 4 mini skeins and this 1 full skein of fingering weight yarn, and I knew I kind of wanted to use those and make them work in this pattern. So what I did was I started with, I started with the Venus held double, and then I held that with the other colors throughout. So you can see all the colors are kind of marled with that pretty pink Venus color. And then I just divided the balls in half and striped them. So starting at the back, there's the pink held double, and then it goes into the yellow, the darker yellow, the variegated purple, and then in the middle, in the front, there's actually a wider chunk of that darker purple, but that's where the twist is. So I think it worked really well. It's definitely a little bit more of a stripe effect than a fade, but I think it's really pretty. I'm not gonna put it on because I'll mess up this whole hair situation, but it fits really well. It's nice and heavy because you actually knit it as a tube. I won't give too much away because it's a paid for pattern, but it's got this really nice garter texture with these slip stitch rows, and it's knitted in the round. So it is garter in the round. So every other row is purling. If you don't like purling, I would not knit this, or I would maybe try and figure out a way to knit it flat and then seam it up. But yeah, because it's a tube, it has a really, really nice, comfortable weight to it, which I love. And then it's mattress stitched together the ends of the tube to close it up. And it makes this really pretty cowl. So I don't know, I just loved these colors. I loved how they worked together. And I think it turned out really nice. And I will be gifting it to someone for Christmas. Although I really like it, so it's possible I'll decide to keep it, but I'm gonna try and gift it. My goal was to work on gifts all year, and then I won't have to be like scrambling for gifts in December. So this one is going in the gift pile, and I'm gonna be strong and actually give it away. Okay, next one, last knitting FO. It is my second Tolsta tee. This is a pattern by Rebecca at the Crayabea, and I love this pattern. I already have my 3rd version planned, but let me show you my 2nd version. It's pretty wrinkly. Please forgive that because I was wearing it tucked into a skirt the other day. But yeah, It is Knit Picks Cotton, which is, I think, 70% cotton, 30% linen. It is they call it a DK, but I would say it's like closer to a sport. It's a little bit lighter. This is the color Swan. It's just this really pretty off-white. I made the size 4, but the pattern is available up to a 67-inch bust. You can see it just has like a really classic raglan shaping. The only modification I made for this version was to knit a wider neckband. So the pattern calls for 3/4 inches of ribbing. This time I did 1.5 inches, and that is a much more comfortable fit for me. I really like my first version too, but it does sit quite wide on my shoulders. I also knitted the body a bit longer on this version because I knew that I would most likely be wearing it tucked in to a skirt, or at least like tucked in on the front. And I wanted to be able to wear it under some dresses and pinafores that I have without having my sides exposed. So a normal crop top length for me, because I have a really short torso, is probably about like 6.5 to 7 inches of body. This one I did 8.5, so it's just long enough to tuck it in or cover my sides under a dress, but it is not so long that I couldn't wear it untucked with like a French tuck or something. And I really like the fabric. It wears really nice. It's very soft. I'm really sorry about the meowing. I would definitely make garments with this again, and I plan to. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's just a really nice plain white tee, and I'm happy to have this as like a new kind of staple in my wardrobe. I feel like I've really built out like a nice little start to my summer knitting wardrobe this year, and I've really been enjoying the summer knitting. I kept hearing people, you know, saying that they didn't like knitting with cotton or linen because it's hard on your hands, and I do get that a little bit. I'm sorry, he's trying to break in now. I definitely get a little bit more hand fatigue with the cotton and linen than I do with wool, but I really don't mind it, and I really love wearing it. So I'm all about the summer knits. We'll see if I get another 1 or 2 in before the end of the season. So that is it for knitting FOs. The last FO that I have is a quilt, and it is a biggie. So if you were watching my vlogs, one of my main goals for that week off that I had was to work on my friend's quilt that I'm making them for their wedding. And I made a lot of progress on it, and this past weekend, I finished it. So I'm gonna put a picture in of it on the bed. The lighting's not great in this picture. It looks a little bit dark, but at least you can get an idea. So this is the Triangle Fade Quilt by Lo and Behold Stitchery, but it is heavily altered. So the original pattern only goes up to a throw size, and the triangles are about 7 inches. Moo! Stop, bud. I'm really sorry. Anyway, basically I made the triangles twice as big to make the king size quilt. There were definitely some trials and tribulations along the way. After I finished piecing the top, I realized it was way too long and I had to take 2 rows out. But I did eventually get there, and I think it looks really nice. I really like the fabrics that we chose, these pretty like creams and greens. And I actually have it here. I will show you how big it is. Here it is. It is chunky. It's a big boy. Yeah, I mean, it is a fully king size quilt. This is the second king size quilt I made this year. I am not eager to make another one anytime soon. I mean, they are so nice to have and great to have on your bed, but it is a labor of love, especially trying to quilt it on your home machine. It's a challenge. It's a workout. I was quilting it yesterday and my arms are sore today, but I think it turned out really, really nicely, and I hope that they're going to love it and be able to use it for a long time. And that's the kind of wedding gift I like to give, you know? So I did end up doing a scrappy binding, which is kind of my favorite type of binding. So you can see there's like green and cream, all the different fabric scraps are in there. I was able to pretty much use up like every little piece of the colored fabrics that we got, so that was nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be giving it to her this week, and I really hope they like it. I think it turned out nice. I would like it on my bed. That is it for FOs. Let me pause here and grab my works in progress. Okay, jumping into works in progress, I'm just gonna quickly touch on a sewing whip. I told you it was the summer of gingham, and it's gingham. So I have this cut out, this super bright pink and orange linen. I think the color is Juicy Fruit. It's really nice. It's super fun. This is gonna be a Donovan skirt by Helen's Closet, all cut out and ready to go. Probably gonna sew that up later today or tomorrow. And I'm hoping to wear it this week to work. So that is one that I'm working on. I also have a Sandhill sling bag cut out by Noodlehead Designs, and I'm hoping to maybe sew that up this weekend as well. I also have a Zadie jumpsuit cut out. So I'm gonna do some sewing this weekend. A couple of different options to choose from, but I definitely want to get the skirt done. So jumping into knitting, the rest of the works in progress are knitting. And leading off of the summer sock knit along, I'll start with the second pair. So let me just show you what I have. The second pair are called the Minerva socks. This pair is toe up. And as you can see, they kind of have this cute little like tulip design. And these have been really fun to knit. There's quite a few cables. There's cables on almost every row, but there's not quite as many as the summer solstice socks had, and they're much smaller. Almost all of them are only a 1x1 twist, and they're not quite as intricate. This one I'm just finding much more intuitive. Like I don't need to refer to the cable explanations. This one has just like 2 different types of cables. Really at the end of the day, whereas the other pair had like 6. So yeah, these are really, really cute. Also, I love the name. The neighborhood we live in is called Minerva Park, so I love having Minerva socks. It's very cool. And the yarn is beautiful. So here you can see the stockinette. The yarn is, let me see. This is a Backcountry Knitter Twisted Sock Base. The color is Dusty Rose. I got this from a local trunk show, but you can see it's this really pretty dusty pink, and then it has these little flecks of gold and brown. So yeah, I'm just, I've got about an inch left, maybe a little less on the foot of this first one. Then I'll be, this is a really interesting way to do a heel. I've only ever seen this in saris patterns before. It is basically like a toe up heel flap and gusset heel. I couldn't really explain to you how she does it, but if you follow the pattern, it works out and it looks just like a cuff down heel flap and gusset. It's very cool. I actually like the construction a lot. This time I'm gonna try and pay a little bit more attention to it so I could like recreate it on my own if I wanted to. But yeah, it's a cool construction, and I'm just, yeah, I really love the design on these. I think once you get to the leg, the little tulip pattern will be on the back also. So that'll probably take a little bit longer, but yeah, I'm really enjoying these. There's quite a bit of purling on the front, but it really makes the cables pop. And the yarn is very nice. I am using a twisted sock base for all 3 yarns, so I could show you those real quick. So this is what I have left from the first pair. The Moonstone colorway, quite a bit left. This is the second cake that I'm using. Oh, there's a needle on the floor. And then the third color I'm gonna be using is this really pretty like deep red. So those will be fun. I'm guessing the last pattern will be stripes, and I think those will be really cool in stripes. This one also is available in 2 sizes, but for this one I'm making the smaller size because it was a 64 stitch count versus 68, I think. So for this one I'm making the smaller size. All right, next one is more socks. So this project is living in my little Very, very cute Lock Knits strawberry bag. I love this. I picked this up at Brand's Moon and Yarn Craft Room in Pittsburgh on the opening weekend. I was able to go out for that, so that was really, really special, and I love the bag. It's kind of become my like simple sock project bag. I decided to cast on another pair of socks amidst the summer sock cowl because the summer sock cowl patterns require all of my attention. Like I have to be sitting at a table with my charts and really focusing on them. And I found myself missing that like mindless sock, especially if I wanted to take it in the car or, you know, just let that like grab and go sock project I really missed. So I've decided to just always have one in this bag. And then if it takes me a week to finish them, fine. If it takes me months to finish them because I'm not working on them that often, fine. I just need to have that project to be able to grab when I need it. So I decided to cast on a pair of shorties. Get everything out here. This is a pattern I've had my eye on for a while. It's the All the Frills shorties by Summerlee Knits. It is from the Shorties Sock Set Volume 1, I think, of hers. And here's what I have. Look at the little ruffle. They're very cute. So I am just working through the gusset decreases right now. The yarn is really pretty. Here, it's got this very like pastel blue-green base, and then it has these like pink and yellow and orange speckles. It's really, really fun. It is Palmer Yarn Company. It doesn't have a color name. I got this secondhand. And yeah, I love how fun it's knitting up. This little frill is just everything. Like, it is so freaking cute. So you knit the little frill, and then you do like a couple inches of ribbed cuff, and then you just go right into the heel flap and gusset. And yeah, once I finish the gusset decreases, I'll be zooming on the foot, and then before you know it, this one will be done. I love this yarn in this pattern with the little ruffle. Very cute. Yeah, so these are just my kind of like, if I need to just knit a more basic sock and not really have to think about it. You know, you definitely do have to pay a little bit of attention in the first like inch or so when you're doing the ruffle, but after that, it's really just some ribbing and some stockinette. So yeah, that's kind of my like back burner sock project, but I really like how they're coming along, and I like the idea of just having a back burner sock project. I actually finished my summer solstice socks a couple of days before the new pattern came out on July 1st, so that's when I cast these on. So yeah, these are kind of my in-between socks right now. What's next? Ooh, I was going to show you a little bit of progress on my Cinnabar shawl by Andrew Mowry. I am just chugging away on it. It's kind of hard to show right now. Like, how do you all show your shawls when they're like mid? I don't know. I'm not sure how to show it. Hold please. Okay, maybe that's better. I've definitely made some progress on it. It's growing. I love the color combo. So the main color, the gray, is Lichen and Lace Heather Sport in the color Smoke. I got like 5 or 6 skeins of this secondhand. It's beautiful. I really like it. It has that rustic like farm yarn feel, but it's still definitely soft enough to wear for me. Some people might find it toothy. My contrast color is this really pretty variegated warm neutral, and I'm holding that with white mohair. The pattern does not call for mohair. I just thought that it would give some really nice squish, and it would help to soften the Lichen and Lace a little bit. So yeah, here's the Lichen and Lace. You can see the texture, but it is beautiful. I was afraid it would be quite thick and thin, but it's fairly consistent. This is, oh gosh, this is a mess. Oh my word. This is the contrast color. It's Ba Yarn's Savannah base, which is a sock base, and the color is Toasted Neutral. So it really is mostly pinks and whites, but you can see every once in a while, like right here, there's like a tiny speck of blue or red. So it's very nice. And then I am holding it with this white Rowan Kid Silk mohair. I guess it's kind of cream. And yeah, I love this. This is like my most calming project to work on right now. Just like the colors and the texture. It's so nice. So this half is 2-color garter and this half is 2-color brioche. And you kind of alternate, like, it looks like I messed something up there. You do a section where the main color is on top and then you do a stripe of the alternate. So I'm working in the 3rd like main color section right now. But yeah, I kind of got into a groove with this and was really jamming on it. So I don't know, maybe I'm like 1/3 of the way done, you know, and it's only going to keep getting bigger. So yeah, I'll keep working on it. I probably won't check in here on it again until I've made quite a bit more progress, but I am really enjoying working on that. Even though it's like a super woolly project, I just find it very relaxing to work on, and I cannot wait to have this to wear this winter. I think I will wear it almost every day. Okay, next one is really fun. This one's really, I love this. This was a total impulse cast on in the vein of, oh my God, what is the name of that shawl I just showed you? In the name of the Embrace Cowl. It was one where the pattern came out and I immediately went stash diving to see what I had to make it with because it's so cute. So one of my friends is expecting her first child in November, and Petite Knit just released this bird sweater pattern. And they've been sharing sneak peeks of it for months, and they released it in, I think Danish, and I was like patiently waiting for them to release it in English, and as soon as they did, I cast it on. You guys, look at this. I mean, look at him. It's too much. I can't, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I am making, okay, the pattern comes in 4 sizes, 1, 2, 4, and 6 years. I am making the smallest size, the size 1, because again, this is for a newborn boy, and it comes with 2 different charts for the birds. So you can either do a blue tit or a robin. So I made the robin because my yarn, my like random stash yarn that I had just lent itself to this color palette better. And this is all stash yarn, all leftover sock yarns, just stuff I had lying around. The red is like a random mini that I had, and I just cannot get over how adorable it is. So this is Intarsia. I feel like I just am an Intarsia lady. I do a lot of Intarsia, I guess. It's just so cute. I can show you the inside's like a little messy if you want to see it. It's kind of, woo, not great. But look how cute the front is. I did go through and make sure, because you know, this is for a baby, everything is like ticked and tied, and once I block it, I'll probably felt the ends in a little bit on the back side just to make sure it's all safe and good for baby. But yeah, it's just so stinging cute. Like I said, these are all just scrap yarns that I had. I am holding fingering weight double. And so you knit the Intarsia, which is just the body, and then you go back in with the black yarn and add the embroidery for like the beak and the eye and the little feet. I couldn't be happier with it. It was so fun I knit this much in 2 days. Like, I just couldn't put it down. So yeah, you knit the front and then you knit the back, you seam the sides, and then you knit the sleeves. It's just a really fun little project, and I love it. And I hope that they will love it too. I will probably bust this out like this week. I'm just kind of starting a little pile of tiny baby knits for that little boy. So yeah, I love the bird sweater. I can't get over it. That's a fun one. I can't tell you what the main color is because I had a whole skein of it. It is Cloudborne Fibers Superwash, whoop, oh my God. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place today. Cloudborne Fibers Superwash Merino Fingering Graphite Heather. That is the main color, the kind of blue gray. So yeah, I'm gonna keep chugging away on that. What's next? Okay, last one. So if you saw my summer vlogs, you probably saw me cast this on and buy the yarn for it. I have worked on almost nothing else for the past 2 weeks. It is my Alpine Bloom tee by Caitlin Hunter. So as soon as I started seeing this pattern, I was obsessed with it. I love the color work. I love the lacy neckline. It's just, I was like, I have to knit that right now. So as soon as the pattern came out, I went to my local yarn store, 614 Knit, and bought yarn for it and cast it on immediately. So let me show you what I bought. Okay, so my main color is Kelborn Woolens Camper Base, and the color is Driftwood Heather. You see the composition is 100% wool, so not exactly sure what it is, but it is really, really soft and beautiful. I love this base. The pattern calls for sport, but the yardage is like bang on 400 yards to 100 grams. So I would call that like, to me, that feels like more of a fingering weight, like a heavy fingering weight than a true sport weight. But this base is spot on match for that yardage to grams. So it seems to have been working perfectly. I just like this neutral kind of warm gray oatmeal-y color as the base. And then my contrast is this really fun variegated. The pattern uses spin cycle, but this is Primrose Yarn Homestead Sport Base, and the color is Spacesuit. So this skein was actually slightly less bright than the first one that I used, but if you look in the middle there, you can really see those vibrant like pinks and purples and oranges, and that was really what I was kind of drawn to. And this is, I finished the color work. I have a lot left. It called for 2 skeins. I think I probably could have used 1. I made the size 4. The pattern's available up to a 68-inch bust. I'm making the size 48, which for me is about 4 inches of positive ease. And I definitely could have just used 1 skein. So that was slightly disheartening because this kind of yarn is fairly expensive. I mean, I will definitely use it for something else. It's beautiful, but definitely could have gotten away with 1. Okay, are you ready? Yeah. I'm so in love with this. Look at it. Oh, this lighting is making it look so crinkly. It turned out so nice. So I am obsessed with this neckline, you guys. Look at this lace. It is so pretty. And then the color work, I wanted like a moderate contrast. I didn't for this version. Am I already planning a second version? Possibly. So I really like how the brights like pop out, but it's not like crazy. I haven't blocked it yet, so please forgive the like wrinkliness. I am really hoping that most of that will block out. It fits like a dream so far. Again, I have finished the color work. I'm zooming on the body, but you know, stockinette, 6.5 inches of stockinette on fingering weight is pretty slow going. Here's the back. I really, really like the way the colors worked out. Let me stand up here so you can see. Okay, so at the top, it starts with some of the like brighter purples and then goes into the pinks and oranges. And then, I'm sorry, the lighting's really not ideal for this. Down here in the leaves and the main flower, you get some of the green, and then it goes back into the purple. So yeah, and you know what I want to wear this with? my crazy skirt. Ah, look at that. Oh my God, you guys, look at that. Look at that combo. That's gonna be good. This is my crazy fall outfit that I'm envisioning. This crazy skirt with this sweater. Oh yeah. So I'm very pleased with it. Like I said, this is my first time knitting a full color work yoke or garment. So definitely still learning with stranded color work. Some parts are definitely a little bit, the floats could have been longer. I feel like right in here in specific, you can see it's kind of crinkling. But like I said, I'm really hoping that blocking will help that to relax out, and I think it will. So yeah, I have a little bit, just a little bit of this yarn ball left, so I'm probably gonna keep knitting on the body until that runs out, and then I will do the sleeves, which are knit separately. You knit the little lace for the sleeves and then graft them on, which I've never done before, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, but that lighting, there we go. That's better. That sideways lighting is making it look real bad, but there, that's really true to color. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. And I've really enjoyed working with both of these yarns. I can't wait to wear this. It's woolly, so, you know, it's definitely not gonna be like a high summer tee for me. I'd love to make another version in like pure silk maybe. Oh, that would be good. Like knitting for olive pure silk. It's a base I've been wanting to try for like a year. So maybe I'll do that. I have in my mind a dark version. I would love to do like a navy blue version with like white flowers or like light blue flowers. I think that would be so pretty. But this is such a statement piece also. I don't know how many of these one can have, you know, like maybe I could get away with having a winter version and a summer version, but I don't, like, I think if I made like 10 of these, that would be maybe a little bit much. But it's been such a delight to knit. I'm gonna keep chugging away on it. And yeah, I really recommend the pattern. This color work was very fun. I couldn't put it down. Like, I mean, last weekend, one day, I think I worked on this for like 9 hours. So yeah, it was very enjoyable. And I really love these yarns together. Okay, that is it for whips. I'm gonna pause here and get organized, and I'll be right back to you with a couple of things that I'm planning to frog. Okay, so every once in a while, I like to go through my whips and just kind of take stock of what I'm working on, what's making me happy, what's not making me happy, and if there's anything I want to let go. So I have 2 things that I recently decided to frog, and I just thought that I would tell you about them and why I decided to do that. I do keep all of my whips out on my shelves. I don't have any of them stored away. And I find that that keeps me like pretty accountable with them. You know, if they disappeared into my closet, that would be it. I did have one last year that hibernated over the winter, and I took it right out in the spring, and it was the first thing that I finished. And if that's not the case, then usually they're gonna get frogged. So the first one I wanna talk about is the North Sea pullover. I'm gonna put a picture in here of the progress I had made before I decided to frog it. So this is a Sandisgarn pattern, and something possessed me to choose this as the first pattern that I tried to knit for my partner Troy. And if you have been here from the beginning, you've heard me talk about this probably in some of the earlier episodes. This was just not a good pattern choice for the first garment I was knitting for someone else. It is a bottom-up all-over colorwork fingering weight sweater. I have never knit a bottom-up raglan before, and I was kind of intimidated by that. I also just think I don't want to knit bottom-up patterns for other people because the fit of a bottom-up pattern is hard enough to get right for yourself, at least in my case, and trying to knit that for him was just giving me a lot of anxiety. And the all-over color work, it was so slow going. Like, in addition to being fingering weight, it was just taking forever. I mean, as you can see, I got quite a bit of it done. I even had about half of a sleeve done. But it just wasn't making me happy, and I never wanted to work on it. Like, I felt like I was having to force myself to work on it. So I went ahead and unraveled this. The yarn is Sandusgarn Mini Alpaca, and I really like the yarn. I'm going to reuse the like rust color for a different sweater for him. Fine that it's fingering weight. I just need something top down, something that's not all over color work, or I'll never finish it. So I do plan to cast this yarn on again as a different sweater for him. I'm thinking about the So Basic sweater by Max the Knitter. I'm not 100% sure yet. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, but I'm hoping to cast that on, you know, if not soon, like late summer, early fall. So I have plans for it. The second one is sad. I was very excited about this project. If you watched my vlogs, you probably heard me talking about this, but it just wasn't going to work out. So I cast on the Wood Anemone Tee by Sari Nordlund, which is a new pattern from her, and it is this beautiful lace and bauble like yoke. I was knitting it with this really nice 100% Pima cotton that I got secondhand, and it was looking really, really pretty. I love this yarn. It was making a beautiful fabric. I was very excited to wear it. However, I knew I was going to be playing Yarn Chicken, but as I started getting more into the yoke, I probably got like a third of the way through the yoke. I just knew there was absolutely no way I was going to have enough yarn. No way at all. I could have finished the yoke and I maybe would have got a couple of inches on the body, but I was not going to have enough to finish this project. And the yarn is no longer available on the dyer's website. I had tried reaching out to them and they never responded. So I just had to let this one go. Instead of, you know, continuing to put a lot of effort into it, I just said, I'm going to stop here and use this beautiful yarn for something else. The other problem is I have 3 skeins. 2 of them are the same color and a slightly lighter blue, and the third skein is quite a bit darker. So I had been alternating skeins in the lace work, and it is visible, like you can see the striping, and I think that was going to ultimately take away from the pattern of the lace. Like, as you can see in the photo, you weren't getting a lot of credit for the lace. Also, I just hate knitting baubles. I've learned that about myself. I don't like knitting baubles. I always say, like, I'm never gonna knit baubles again, and then I will. Of course I will at some point, but I'm gonna try to be pretty selective about them and how many there are in a project, because I really do not enjoy them. They slow me down so much, and not that it's about the speed, I don't enjoy having to like turn the work like 5 times per bauble. I just do not enjoy the process of knitting them. And I feel like half the time they don't even look that good. The way I'm making them, they don't like pop the way that I want them to. And I've tried quite a few different like techniques for that. I don't know, I'm tempted to try the like crochet method. I know people have had success with that. So all of that to say, I don't like knitting baubles. The yarn was not going to be enough, and I went ahead and frogged it. So I'm tentatively planning to make a third Tolsta tee with this yarn instead. My thought is to use the darker color for all of the ribbon, and then use the 2 lighter colors for the body. So I'm hoping that would give like a little bit of a subtle like ringer effect to the tee. And I know that I would have enough yarn for that. So I have that set aside already. I'll probably cast that on as soon as I finish something else. So yeah, I think it's good to like take inventory of your projects and be mindful about them. So yeah, let me know how you deal with your whips. Are you like totally willing to frog anything? Is it very hard for you to do that? I'm curious about other people's process around these things. I personally find that once I like let go of the thing, I feel better. Like especially the North Sea pullover, it felt like it was kind of weighing me down because it had been on my needles since like last fall. So yeah, I feel good about that one. And I might even do a different sweater for him first that's like a heavier weight, just to like get it out of the way, the first one, you know, and like learn how to fit him a little bit better. So we'll see. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna move on to acquisitions. I just have one yarn, and then I have a couple of books and magazines to share. So my local yarn store, 614 Knit Studio, had a big blowout sale over 4th of July to make room for some of their new yarn coming in. And I went in to check it out, and of course I left with something. So they had all of their Woolfolk yarn on sale, and I really like Woolfolk. It is not a cheap yarn, but they had it on sale 25% off everything. So I picked up a few skeins of their Taj base in this really pretty creamy color. So the color is 00. And it is 142 yards per 50 grams. Let's see. 70% ultimate merino, 25% mohair. Yeah, it's really nice. And it has this like nice crinkly texture. I purchased this with the intent of making, I think it's called Big Rib. I could be wrong. It's the Jessie May pattern. It is like a really wide rib raglan. And this is the yarn that she used for the pattern. And I just think that pattern in this color for like the winter will be really dreamy. So that is the plan for this. Right now it's just going in stash, but I do have a plan for it. It is very, very soft. It was so hard to choose a color. They have such beautiful, like soft, neutral, pretty colors, but I ultimately thought, you know, I don't have a white sweater. I think this would be very like ethereal in this color and I would wear it a lot, so I went with white. Okay, the rest of the acquisitions I have to share are books and magazines. So last weekend, Troy and I decided to go to Half Price Books because I wanted to check out their secondhand, you know, their like crafting section. So I did find a couple of books. I was specifically looking for knitting books. I didn't buy any knitting books, but I'm very excited about all the books that I did buy. So this first one is a book that I had actually checked out from the library about 2 years ago and loved, and thought if I ever find a secondhand copy, I'm gonna buy it because it's awesome. The book is Print Pattern Sew by Jen Hewitt. And this book is all about how to block print and create block prints, but specifically like how to print yardage and make things from it. So you can even see here, she has all these beautiful swatches. So yeah, she like goes through all the steps of, you know, how to carve your stamps, all the materials you'll need, how to print them. And then also goes through in detail about like how to design your layout and print your layout on the fabric so it's consistent. And then there's also patterns in the book. So like there's this really cute bag. I think there's like 12 patterns in here. And the patterns are actually printed out. They're included in the back of the book and they're all in here. I did check. Which, how cool is that? And she even includes a couple of stencils. So if you didn't want to make an original design, you could use some of hers. It's just a really cool book. I love this book. And I'd really like to try printing some yardage and making a garment, like a top or a dress or a bag, anything. I just think it's so cool. I've done some block printing before. I made some like Christmas tags and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the process. I really enjoy the carving, the printing, the drawing, all of it. So I'm so happy to have this book in my permanent possession, and I really can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in block printing or printing your own fabrics to sew with, this is a really amazing book. And they had a bunch of copies at Half Price Books, so maybe check out your local Half Price Books. Okay, the next book I got, this one is a bit of a stretch. The next two are like both crafts that I have not actually tried yet, but I'm very interested in. So the next one is Modern Rug Hooking by Rose Perlman. I have seen this book on Instagram. I've seen it around. I've really, really been wanting to try punch needle. And this book is beautiful. It is very my aesthetic. The colors are beautiful. The projects are beautiful. This is a skill that I really want to develop. I mean, the idea of like creating this kind of textile for our home really appeals to me. And there's just a lot of really beautiful images and like color inspiration in this book as well. And look at this bag on the back. It's so cool. So I'm super, super excited to read this one and get these tools and give it a try. So, I mean, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Like, oh, so good. So I'm really excited to try this. A couple summers ago, I was like, I really want to try punch needles. So I went to Joann Fabrics and bought like the cheapest punch needle kit they had. And of course it didn't work. It was like garbage, which is my mistake for, you know, I do find when you're starting a new craft, it helps to invest in the right tools. Because if you have a bad experience, a lot of times it's because you're not using the right tools. And then you're not getting a good idea of like if you are actually going to enjoy the craft or not. So, you know, you don't want to like jump in the deep end necessarily and buy like a bunch of expensive things. But I do think for something like this, where there is a tool that you need to have to even do the craft in the first place, like it does benefit to have the right tool. So I am planning to buy the proper like punch needle tool and the proper fabric and give this a try, and I'm excited about it. And the last one is just funny, but I like couldn't resist it. So the other thing is spinning. I am so tempted to just like jump in the deep end with spinning, and I've been holding myself back because I know it's a whole other world of craft and learning and techniques, and that excites me, but it also feels like I have so many crafty things on my plate already that I'm a little bit worried I would like jump in the deep end and then not be able to make time for it. But I'm very interested in it, and I've enjoyed like learning about it, even though I haven't really been participating in it. And I found this vintage spinning book, and it's very quaint. So it's called The Craft of Hand Spinning. And it is straight out of the 80s. The book is by Eileen Chadwick. Oh, there goes my phone. Sorry about that. I'm trying to see when this was printed. Let's see, 1980. Yes, so it is an old one, but it looks like it's never been opened before. And it just has all of these really quaint, like black and white images of like sheep and spinning, and I don't know, I just feel like I could learn a lot from it. You know, I'm sure the techniques and methods have changed since the 80s, but I don't know, I'm interested in it. Also, like, look at this lady's outfit. Like, I would wear that right now. Yeah, so I got this vintage spinning book for like $4. And yeah, I'm just interested to give it a read and see what I can learn. And I don't know, it's kind of the like idyllic farm life vibe. So I just picked that one up to add to my fiber library. Okay, and the rest of these are magazines. So Half Price Books has a big magazine section in the back, and they have a craft section within that. So I picked up a couple of magazines. There's 3 old issues of Vogue Knitting, and there's 1 issue of Knitting Today. And I did just give them a little flip through in the store to see if there was any patterns I was interested in. These are a quarter, so I mean, you kind of can't go wrong. So I'm just going to show you the patterns from each one that I was interested in. This is an issue of Vogue Knitting from Holiday 2009. And let me see, I bookmarked a couple things. So this was a sweater that I thought was really cool. It's, I think it's pronounced Cafa Facet. I'm not sure. They're designers that do a lot of like really interesting color play. So I thought that one was super cool. Let's see what else. I thought this little wrap was like very fancy and cool. I liked the waist tie. Something like this would be really cool for like a holiday, or if you have like a little bit of a fancier event. Sorry for all the rustling. I really love this wrap. I like want to knit this wrap. It's just this little like short sleeved rib wrap. I've seen all these cool like sleeve only kind of things, and I love this little like short sleeve version. What else? Oh, and there's a really pretty pair of socks in here too. Yeah, like how nice those are. All over lace, super pretty. So yeah, there was some really nice little patterns in this issue. This one is from fall 2008. Drama. This one is very funny. There is like a humongous article in here about this crazy new website called Ravelry. It was so funny to read and like just see the like impression that people had at the time of Ravelry when it was new. It was very, very funny. Okay, this page I just thought was adorable. These are all different little tape measures. Look at the shape. Look at these. They're all tape measures and they're just really cute. I just thought that was fun. I don't know. I like looking through old magazines sometimes. Maybe I'm the only one. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, here's the Ravelry article. It says, part social networking site and part online phenomenon, Ravelry is not only transforming the way knitters and crocheters communicate online, it's also revolutionizing the yarn industry. Have you joined the revolution? And there's a whole article. It's pretty good. So that's just kind of funny. The revolution. Okay, first pattern I really liked from this book was these mitts. So they are a convertible mitt, but I really liked this like pink and brown color combo and that like graphic two colored ribbing. Let's see. Oh my gosh, also these socks. Look at these crazy intarsia flower socks. I don't know if I would have the patience to knit those. I just thought they were amazing because they're intarsia and then you also have to go back in and embroider on top of them. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what I just did with the bird sweater, but I don't know if I could commit to it on socks. I also really loved this cable cardigan, this cropped cable V-neck cardigan. Really pretty. Look, the ribbing is cables. Can you see that? That is crazy. So interesting. Who knows if I'll ever knit any of these. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, that was it for that one. This is my last knitting. I think it's it says early 2015. So this one's quite a bit more modern. And there were a few really pretty patterns in here. Let's see. There's this whole little section in here of these little crop tops, but look at this top. Look at the back. So pretty. It's like a little T on the front, but look at the back. It's beautiful. I really want to knit that one actually. Out of all of these magazine patterns, that's the one that I'm most like, I would like to knit this. This one's aspirational, as if I could ever knit a dress, but look at this. That is freaking beautiful. If I were to knit a dress, that's the kind of dress I'd want to knit. Stunning, all over lace. This is a really fun little top. It kind of reminded me of poinsettias, and I thought it could be really pretty in red for like a Christmas top. Let's see. And oh, I also really, actually all the patterns I actually want to really knit soon are like in this edition. I love this little bomber cardigan, the chevron. I do not like these colors, but I feel like in like more tonal like neutrals or like black and white, this would be so cute with the zipper. Look at the little sleeve chevron. Very cute. I really like that one a lot. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to like take pictures of these patterns and add them to my Ravelry or something to remember them, but for now they're just in the magazine. And last one really quickly is just this issue of Knitting Today, and I think there were just a couple things in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a Knitter's Guide to Denver, which I thought was cool. I've been to Denver, but that was before I started knitting, so you know, I didn't go to Fancy Tiger Crafts or any of those places that I would definitely be wanting to go to now. So that was kind of cool. I also really liked, this is the main reason I got this magazine, these Argyle socks. I thought these were super cool and I would love to knit them for Troy. Just very classic looking. And then I did see once I bought this that they're knitted completely flat, which is interesting. It makes me less likely to knit them, unfortunately, but they are beautiful. So, okay, yes, those are all of my half-price books, Knitty magazine finds. Really quickly, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. This is a long one. Thank you so much for sticking around. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I did do the summer vlog series, which was really, really fun. It was so nice to just have a week off of work to truly like relax and catch up on my own crafty projects and organize. Like it was really, really lovely, and those were very fun to make. So if you are interested in checking those out, they are in the feed. And I also mentioned my summer sewing plans video. So if you're more interested in the sewing, that's a video that I make every season. And there was some really, really good stuff for the summer version. I also went to a local knit night. So when I started this podcast in January, one of my goals for the year was to find more knitting community. And this was one way of doing that, you know, and it's been so lovely connecting with you, all of you on here. I love reading your comments. I have met a couple of viewers in real life, which has been so nice. And I just like, I love building this community here, but the other half of that was finding an in-person knitting community. And I just recently discovered 614 Knit Studio, which is like the one local yarn shop I had not been to until like a month or two ago. And it's amazing. I felt so at home there as soon as I went in. Definitely has the best selection of yarns that like out of the local yarn stores that like I would be looking to work with. We're really lucky to have like 4 or 5 local yarn stores here in Columbus. I felt the most at home at this one, and that got me really excited. And so on Thursday night, I went to their in-person knit night, and it was so lovely. It was so fun. I'm just really happy about it. So right now in the summer, they only do it once a month. So it's the first Thursday of every month. And I actually went with my mom. She came with me. She's an avid crocheter. She's actually working on a project for me right now with yarn that I bought for her to make that for me. So that's exciting. I'm sure you guys will see that eventually. But she came and we went, and there ended up being about 6 of us there. But it was just so nice to meet some other local knitters and like get to know them. There was like a good mix of age ranges. Everyone was very welcoming, and I just immediately felt like these are my people, you know? So that was really exciting, and I am looking forward to continuing to go to that group. And it feels good to have like set that goal for myself and feel like I'm actually achieving it. So that was awesome. Other than that, it's been pretty busy here. Summer is always a busy time with like social events, especially this year we have quite a few weddings, and it's all gearing up. So it's been a busy time, but it's been a nice time as well. We had quite a bit of time off for the 4th of July, so that was also nice. I know I had like a week off, and then I had 5 days off really for 4th of July almost. So that was nice. The garden's doing well. We're about to have a ton of peppers and tomatoes. My lima beans that I planted, I think they're getting too much sun. Might have planted them too late in the season. But you know, you live and you learn. So I think that is it for me today. Thank you so much if you've watched to the end. This was a long one. I'd love to hear what you're working on, what your summer plans are. And yeah, I will be back in a week or 2 with another podcast episode. And until then, I hope you get lots and lots of knitting and crafting time, and I will see you next time. Bye.